Greetings and welcome to Elect Connect, a candidate forum brought to you by the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. I'm Mary Morgan, the Chamber's Director of Advocacy and Public Policy. We'll be talking with Peggy Mayfield, a Republican who's running for the Indiana House of Representatives in District 60. But first, I'd like to thank our Elect Connect sponsors. Without their support, our work would not be possible. Those sponsors are Comcast Business, Bunker & Robertson, the City of Bloomington, German American Bank, Hoosier Energy, Indiana University, and Smithville. And now I'd like to welcome Peggy Mayfield. Peggy, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks for this opportunity.
Sure. I'd like to start out by just asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for re-election this year.
Well, about myself, I'm unremarkable like many others. I'm a wife, a mother, business owner, Hoosier. And so I think I have a very good grasp of what I want to see in our state government, or what direction I want to see Indiana policy to go. Why I'm running for re-election is because, you know, when I started this 8 years ago, when you enter the state legislature, you do bring a certain amount of your own expertise based on the experiences that you've had. And I did that as well. Once you get in, you realize there is so much more to running the state than maybe you thought about. And as I learn more about these topics, my legislative body of work has expanded to include areas that I never really thought that I would tackle before. Everything from education to public safety to environmental issues, where none of that had been my realm of work before.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I do have one other question. As you know, our community has been considering an increase to the local income tax. And while that was recently defeated, it remains an issue ongoing. I'm interested in knowing what changes to state law would you support related to the local income tax?
Well, I was fully behind the outline that was originally in 1065, House Bill 1065, authored by Representative Thompson. I liked what he was trying to do. I think it was a very fair way of weighting votes and dividing or apportioning the control of a vote of a tax council. Ultimately, though, I still think that a county council should be the taxing body, which it is in 80-some counties throughout the state. I don't think we'll ever go back to that fully in all counties. So I would be very supportive of legislation that takes into consideration the voice of the non-controlling units in counties where cities are the majority of the population. I think it really requires those units to work together toward goals instead of one dictating what the goal will be. And I think that ends up being better public policy for everybody.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts. As a reminder to everyone, we've been talking with Peggy Mayfield. She's a Republican who's running for re-election for the Indiana House of Representatives in District 60. One final shout out to our Elect Connect sponsors, Comcast Business, Bunker & Robertson, the City of Bloomington, German American Bank, Hoosier Energy, Indiana University, and Smithville. And finally, a reminder to vote on November 3rd or take advantage of early voting if you can. For information on this year's election and all of the candidates in our area, there are a couple of resources for you. The first is for Monroe County Election Central at monroecountyvoters.us. And we also at the Chamber have an election guide for you, nonpartisan election guide at chamberbloomington.org/2020-general-election. Thanks again for joining us.